I've had a very busy day here on Garrett Podcasting. I mean, not just, off the podcast mainly. Thanks for joining me. We are live. Our chat is open. Garrett Podcasting is live right now. Had a busy day. Saw my buddy Danny Voice. Yeah, my buddy Danny Voice for a little while in a very hot, summery Long Island day. And it was very exciting to see him. Then I ended up in a couple places. Ended up at Mitchell Field to honor the games for the physically challenged, which would have been this weekend. If you want to know more about it, I'll get into that soon enough. But the games, yearly tradition where kids with disabilities gather and compete in running, in track and field, and athletics, wheelchair basketball, shot put, table tennis, swimming, everything a normal, quote-unquote, normal kid could do, we athletes can do it just as damn good. But with COVID, volunteering for that has been postponed, but Dad and I were out there in Mitchell Field, watched a little lacrosse. As you know, Long Island is big for lacrosse right now. Huge implosion of lacrosse stars, actually, and lacrosse players and teams and programs. And then I ended the day at Belmont Park, rail side, on the rail. Isn't that a podcast, On the Rail? I don't know. But on the rail. And not only was I there, got this cool footage of the start of the Belmont Stakes and the end of the Belmont Stakes. Essential Quality, the one that would have been the Kentucky Derby favorite, lost that one, but won it today in Belmont, New York. So you can see that footage at Alex G NYC 1. But I digress. Oh, and I went out to Nassau Coliseum to see what the chances were of going to tonight's Islander game. Very slim, but they do have another one now and could advance to the next round if they win the next two games against Boston. But at the barn, the Coliseum's still alive, rocking, shaking. One an audition for Paul Mary, one an audition of Travis Zajac. Anyway, so much traveling. I got to all these places by Lyft. I love Lyft, don't get me wrong. But what I'm about to tell you may deem me unable to utilize the app. Why? Because I have a question for Lyft and Uber. And I've got a question about all the free things we are being given to get the vaccine. Pregnancies are a pretty big medical emergency. But we always pray for a healthy pregnancy, right? A much-needed x-ray. A much-needed visit to the ER that is urgent. Up until COVID vaccines being given free reign and free rides for, did Lyft or Uber ever give you or anyone a free ride to the ER because they were in need? Did anybody in Uber or Lyft? Was the app ever used for a free medical thing before? Have I missed something here? Or because the big agenda is to get everybody vaccinated, at least 70%. Lyft and Uber are complying and making it easier. But I have a challenge right now. With all the free stuff I'm seeing, I have a challenge right now to Uber and Lyft. And you may not know this, but if you were to make an ER or a medical visit free ride I would respect the hell out of you even more. I would say this corporation is willing to give up dollars because someone has a medical emergency that's beyond the COVID vaccine. If the vaccine is where these free rides stop, then I don't believe that Lyft or Uber could truly care about someone's health beyond what the media wants them to care about. I'm tired of these corporations being spat on by the Occupy Wall Street folks, but then beloved by everybody. What do I mean by that? Oh, thank God for Uber and Lyft, or doing these vaccine rides, or we're going to make sure that small business cannot reopen by shutting them down, by enforcing things that they should be lifted. We cannot wait till July. How many times do I have to say that? It's very sad that a company like Starbucks, McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, the corporations that I thought were not supposed to have any reign in this country, can stay open alongside a shuttered mom and pop diner. Can stay open while bars and restaurants had to close at 10 p.m., had to not have indoor dining, had to suffer losses of wages and whatnot. I thought the whole thing was to bring down the corporation, not the small business. Instead, the corporations that comply and enlist with this whole mask up and vaccinate and get vaxxed. And by the way, President Biden, you know what he said? You can be free. You must get vaccinated. Again, the messaging should be, you can be free. No matter what. You can be free no matter what. The idea that this vaccination is now our freedom card is really disturbing, if you think about it. Now, I've got it, and I'm glad people are getting it. Don't get me wrong. But if we're going to say to be free is to do something that is being mandated, that's dangerous. If we're saying to be free is to not have a choice in the matter, that's not American. So no, freedom doesn't just come with the vaccination. It comes with a decision to get vaccinated. Freedom doesn't just come with the vaccination card. It comes with making the choice. The idea is wear a mask or get vaxxed. That's societal view right now. And it's a dangerous one. When you attach freedom to a mandate. That's not mandated, by the way. It's a dangerous one. When you tell Uber and Lyft, or when Uber and Lyft says, yeah, we'll have free rides to vaccines, but not to other health crises, that is problematic. Because aren't other health crises as important as this vaccine? Isn't our health so important that if at this point we're giving free rides for medical visits to get the vaccine, we should be giving other free rides as well for other emergencies? Just my thoughts. Alex at alexgnyc.com. Alex at alexgnyc.com. What the pandemic is teaching us is that we can be closed down any minute they want to. And sometimes for necessary. That leaders aren't giving us any reason to trust them whatsoever. That's why there is still distrust amongst those who don't want to get vaccines. They don't see the trust in leadership. Governor Cuomo can lie about the numbers of the nursing home, yet be supported with the vax efforts. Not in my book. Not that I don't believe in the hands of God, in the hands of those making the vaccines, having been gifted with the ability to make the vaccines for us. Let me say that again. People have been gifted by God to make these vaccines reliable. There is no doubt about it. Scientists. But with the Fauci emails now, and with everything in the Cuomo thing, who would trust what they are telling us? And I've never sounded like this before, but it's really hitting home now. But I don't care about politics, because leaders are going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to be hypocritical. It's normal. But when corporations say, yeah, this health matter is so important, I want to see them say every health matter matters. Wouldn't every health matter to the point where Uber and Lyft offer free rides to an emergency room? And by the way, not raise rates during an actual emergency, like they were doing after the explosion in New York City in Chelsea in 2015. Isn't the idea of if health matters, then every ride to the hospital should be free at this point? And then we're also enabling gambling. Yeah, if you get the vaccine, and you can get a free scratch-off card. At what point does the free stuff end? Tuition? It gets a little out of hand, don't you think? It's not distrusting science to say not everything should be free for this vaccine. It's not. It's distrusting the real motivation. Because at this point, then, if you get a flu shot, make it free stuff for that. If you get if you have to get something not related to COVID, then that health matter should be free, shouldn't it? After all, freedom is what we're talking about, right? Being free, having free stuff for this one incentive for this vaccine. Let's incentivize just getting our health on track and not focus so hard on the vaccine at this point. I know they're pushing to the 70% mark. I know Major League Baseball now has a huge initiative that they're going to be rolling out to do vaccines, I guess, at home plate. I don't know. I have to look into that more. And there's nothing wrong with you if you want to get the vaccine. I would encourage it. I think it's a safe thing to do. I do. But I don't believe in it ruling our lives of whether we open or not. Because the vaccinated people and the unvaccinated will eventually be over this virus together. You would think that's why the vaccine exists. Fact is, not everyone gets their flu shot. Not everyone is up to date on their shots, right? That's just a fact. And yes, COVID has been real. It's been trying. It's been terrible. And I'm not advising against the vaccine. I'm just saying, if this matters so much for free things that are unrelated to health, by the way, baseball, theater, trip to the next year's Belmont Stakes, then when you take care of other health matters, and you need to take care of them, that's it. When you need to take care of them, you have a heart attack, Uber and Lyft, are you going to offer a free ride to someone who's just had a heart attack? Now, I know you won't necessarily order Uber and Lyft, you'll do 911. But at what point do we say, well, if these vaccines matter so much, then someone suffering from a heart attack also matters. Someone suffering from any illness that may take an Uber or Lyft, but may not want to call 911. By the way, kudos to the feds for tracking and bystanders on this airplane leaving LA. Someone tried to hijack a plane. Man, 20 years later, that's a scary note, is it not? Thank God they got him, though. And the FBI is investigating. But if our health truly matters, the flu shot, the COVID shot, the just health in general, then make rides to the ER free of charge. Because if you can do it for the COVID vaccine, then all health matters should be on the table. And if they're not, then it's an agenda thing. It doesn't feel genuine, and I'm about genuineness and realness on this podcast. And genuine is offering free services to those who need health matters met, even through Uber, through Lyft, even through insurance. We cannot say the COVID vaccine matters much more than someone suffering a heart attack. We cannot say the COVID vaccine matters so much more than the person who needs to get to that ER right away for something unrelated. We cannot say all health matters don't matter. Because if we do that, and if we make that clear, then this whole COVID push to get rid of it doesn't feel genuine. It feels forced, and it feels like all corporations are just complying so they don't get any kind of clapback. And that's that. And it's the corporations buying into these things, but not helping in other needs as much. That makes me sad that they can stay open past 11 p.m. when bars and small businesses couldn't. Makes me sad that they couldn't, that they could stay open, to Dunkin's, the Starbucks, when real restaurants owned by small businesses couldn't, and were crushed. We can do better. Get the vaccine if you feel comfortable. But Lyft, Uber, corporations, you want to offer free things? Government, you want to offer free things? Okay. Then let's see other free things offered for health benefits, for health needs. Lower the drug prices, for God's sakes. Lower the premiums, lower things to make it affordable for the average person. And just give us a free car ride if we have to get to the ER. Make it a point that you really care about someone else's health, and you're going to make an option for free rides for other health matters, Uber and Lyft. On that note, it's Sunday morning. Have a good morning. We'll talk to you soon. Alex, Garrett Podcasting.